with a brand new edition of Proclamation News and Gatherence. Absolute populism. Thank you ever so much for tuning in. I'm giving out today I'm giving out so much advice. Make sure you share and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. We've got question time tomorrow at 7 p.m. 10 questions. Out of 10 questions, the most person gets the most answers correct wins a Prox R3 giveaway. There's been cash prizes as well in the future, so make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe. You can give a shout out before my sponsors before getting involved in instance, Front Bench Politics and Essex Criminology. It's coming to bank holiday, so have a safe weekend. Don't overindulge in alcoholism and narcotics. Think safety, think first. Think of your surroundings, people around you. Hope everyone has a safe weekend. If you want to live that life of the aesthetics of life, purely of the aesthetics of life, of the highs and lows, make that change. If I can change, you can change. We can change. Live life purely of the aesthetic of life. Do it for the better of your aspirations. Dream big. Make that dream come true. With change, that's possible. It's another day of my compassion to the people. Embrace or don't change. But it's in us. You're thinking about change, but you got to want to change to make that change. Live life purely of the aesthetics of life, the good life. Make that change, ladies and gents. Proclamation News and Gatherence. I just want to give a shout out to my sponsors. We are sponsored by PSS Alarms for ethical and pragmatic work carried out. All works covered, including central station monitoring provided. It's a friend of mine's company. He's carried out works in Harry Kane's stepmother's house in Hertfordshire, Potter's Bar. He carries out etiquette works throughout Essex, such as Casbah Restaurant and many more big businesses. Installation and maintenance of intruder alarms, fire alarms, CCTV. All works guaranteed and certified to SSARB standards. 24-hour call-out service. Can provide CCTV for pubs, clubs, restaurants, or new business setup. Secure your business. Mention Professor Johnson for an extra discount. If you want new CCTV put up in your place, make sure you mention Professor Johnson for an extra discount. Secure your home, secure your business. Your safety and priorities within your business are paramount. So think safety, think first. Secure your equity. Get a pen ready. Call Tariq Khan, is the owner of this company. Tariq Khan. Tariq spelled T-A-R-I-Q. The contact number, the first 5 digits are 07908. The first 5 digits, I'll repeat, 07908. The last 6 digits are 216142. I'll repeat. The last 6 digits, 953104. The full number, 07511 953104. We're going to get, guys, if you're thinking about bettering yourself, making that change, you suffer with depression and anxiety, it's hard to give up. You know, if you've been drinking all your life, it's hard to give up narcotics. But if you want to make that change, put in, good fuel in your system. Relax-UK.com. Relax UK Limited. Health, travel, and wellness products since 1997. You want to detox your body with some good fuel. UK relaxation shops selling various ranges of products from relaxation, travel, well-being, biofeedback, sleeping, and natural products. You can Google that. Relax-UK.com. Make that change. Make that change, ladies and gents. Do not enter your vehicle under sleep deprivation, alcoholism, or narcotics. We're going to look at the road incidents within inside the UK. It's important you don't enter your vehicle after sleep deprivation, alcoholism, or narcotics, or being on your phone while you're at the wheel, or eating while you're at the wheel. You can take your eyes off the road for a split second, making sure you've got plenty of fuel sufficient on board. to make sure you can reach your destination. Checking your engine oil, your water coolant tank, making sure the top's up to maximum level, making sure your car is MOT is up to date, making sure you and your passengers have seat safety belts adjacent to car seat and your baby adapter adjacent to car seat with a seat belt covered, making sure you're strapped in. It's important to take one. Doesn't take, you could be the best driver in the world, but it's the others on the road. If they get on the road under sleep deprivation or drinking under influence of alcohol and narcotics, then that innocent person, you being a good driver, could well be in an accident, be getting cut out of the car by the fire brigade, and the police will have to attend the scene, making an unnecessary incident, cutting dead babies out of the car because you didn't put the seatbelt on. So it's important that you take all these little things on board. Checking your centre wing mirror and your wing mirror before turning into safe, sufficient directional choice. Make sure motorcyclists or cyclists are not overtaken. Anyway, we're going to move on to the few incidents today in Watchford. We've got so much good news to come through. We've got question time tomorrow at 7 o'clock to be in with a chance of winning a free Proct Art giveaway. Make sure you tune in. Got key rings, ornaments, all kinds of stuff. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. Today, we're going to give out some great advice. We've got criminology within Essex. We've got front bench politics. It's only a short show, so stay tuned. Might be 20 minutes long. On the A127, slow traffic in construction area. At A127, Prince Avenue both ways at Watchford Road. The bell traffic lights in the construction area. A lane closure is in place. This is reported on 27th of May this morning at 20 to 9 a.m. So if you think about planning your destination, this gives you a heads up. Always check the roads, see if they're blocked. A128 partially blocked because of an accident, slow traffic. Due to accident on A128 Bremer Road southbound at A13 Orset Cock, the 27th of May, again at 20 to 1 p.m. That could be driving under sleep deprivation, under the influence of alcohol and narcotics. We don't know. I'm not going to point fingers. None of us are, but it could well be. M25 at Dartford, lane or lanes closed, stalled truck, queuing traffic, congestion, one lane closed and queuing traffic due to stalled truck on M25 anti-clockwise after junction 2. At Darneth interchange, congestion to junction 3. M20 Swanley interchange, lane 1 of 4 remains closed. Traffic was held for around 5 to 10 minutes to put in the restrictions. That was reported again 12:30 today. We're going to have a look. Waltham Abbey. Everyone travelling back through London or thinking about travelling to London this evening? Waltham Abbey. Maybe not. It's not an incident now. I thought it was. In Barking, guys. In Barking. If you're on the way back from Barking or going to Barking this evening, there is an instant queuing traffic congestion to all lanes have been reopened. Emergency service incident A123 Whipple Road eastbound from the petrol station to A13. Alfred Way, Lodge Avenue Junction, congestion to Bexton flyover along the A13 with further delays along the North Circular back to Ilford. Reported today at 12 noon, ladies and gents. So I'm giving you fresh incidents, what's going on. So if you think about planning your destination, one last incident before we move on. Got a road blocked on the A40 near Wembley. Accident involving queuing traffic congestion, road blocked and queuing traffic due to incident. 2 cars involved on A40 Western Avenue eastbound at A4180 West End Road. Polish War Memorial to A312 Church Road. Target roundabout, congestion to Hillingdon Circus, passing the RAF, Norfolk Road, blocked. So look, it only takes someone drink driving, under the influence of narcotics or sleep deprivation. It's important that you think safety, think first before you emerge onto the UK roads. Just a bit of front bench politics before we get into criminology, probably about 5 minutes long. Got Matt Hancock in the headlines again today. Mr. Hancock. COVID, we've always been straight with people, Matt Hancock says. Matt, The Health Secretary, Matt Hancock, has told MPs that the government has been straight with people throughout the pandemic. This follows a claim by Dominic Cummings, the Prime Minister's former chief advisor, that Mr. Hancock lied to colleagues about dealing with COVID in care homes. But the Health Secretary dismissed the allegation as unsubstantiated and not true. I think my theoretic opinion about the looking after people in care homes is the workers, because you've opened up hospitality sector. The workers can go and get COVID from going out in the hospitality sector, then bring it into the care homes for the residents, which isn't fair. It isn't fair for residents, is it? Not at all. And it demanded full answers on the government's efforts to protect care homes, in which it said more than 30,000 people had died from COVID. Appearing before a parliamentary committee investigating lessons learned during the COVID crisis on Wednesday, Mr. Cummings is scathing about Mr. Hancock. He claimed the Health Secretary should have been fired for at least 15 to 20 things, including lying to everybody on multiple occasions, in meeting after meeting in the cabinet room and publicly. Mr. Cummings also said, Hancock told us in the cabinet room that people were going to be tested before they went back to care homes. We only subsequently found out that it didn't happen. Subsequent government claims and putting a shield around care homes were completely nonsense, he added. Care workers shouldn't be allowed to go out willy-nilly, freely into, social gatherings. Answering an urgent question from Labour, Mr. Hancock told MPs, I welcome the opportunity to come to the House of Commons to put formally on the record that these unsubstantiated allegations around honesty are not true, and that I've been straight with people in public and private throughout. Mr. Hancock has also told MPs government had taken a approach of openness, transparency, and explanation of both what we know and what we don't know. Mr. Cummings quit his Downing Street role last summer following a power struggle. In a apparent barb aimed at the PM's former advisor, Mr. Hancock said the operation and function of the government had become easier over the past 6 months. For Labour Shadow Health Secretary John Ashworth asked, is Mr. Hancock ashamed he promised a protective shield around care homes and over 300,000 care home residents have died? He added, these allegations from Cummings are either true, and if so, the Secretary of State potentially stands in breach of the ministerial code and Nolan principles on behaviour in public life, or they are false and the Prime Minister brought a fantasist and a liar into the heart of Downing Street. Which is it? Families who have lost loved ones deserve full answers from him. Labour MP Barbara Kelly asked if Mr. Hancock had known about the policy allowing untested people to enter care homes, causing inevitable deaths among residents and staff. The Health Secretary replied, the challenge is we had to build testing capacity, and at the time, of course, I was focused on protecting people in care homes and in building a testing capacity so that we had the daily test to be able to ensure availability was more widespread. The SNP Martin Day called for the government full COVID inquiry set to begin next year to be brought forward, but Mr. Hancock rejected the idea. And the Green Party's Caroline Lucas said the public deserved better than the grotesque pantomime of the Cummings evidence session, urging the government to publish and findings it has so far on its handling of the pandemic. During Wednesday's 7-hour session, Mr. Cummings also said tens of thousands of people died needlessly because of government mistakes. The Prime Minister is unfit for the job. Mr. Johnson said he would rather see bodies pile high than take the country into a third lockdown. The PM has denied making this comment. A herd immunity strategy was dropped when the likely death toll became clear. His trip to County Durham during lockdown had undermined public confidence. The Prime Minister had offered to be injected live in a TV with the virus to show the public there was nothing to fear. Running of the government kind of collapsed when Mr. Johnson was hospitalised with COVID, The PM's fiancée, Carrie Simmons, wanted to get rid of him. Downing Street said all sides of the story would be heard at the up-and-coming public inquiry into the pandemic, adding that the Prime Minister will be getting on with the job on Thursday by visiting a hospital. Mr Hancock is likely to face more questions on his conduct when he leads the government's COVID press conference at 5:30 BST. I thought it was all a bit of a conspiracy, COVID at first, but out of all people to catch COVID in the world, Boris Johnson had COVID. I thought, is this a conspiracy theory? But then obviously I've had even closer members, my family catching COVID, ex-best friends, father, whatever, passing away. It's been such a tragic, and us here all alive today, we're so lucky, so lucky to be here. If you had your vaccination, you have done, what you should be doing. If you haven't, I think you're being selfish, in my eyes. Everyone's got their own opinions about it, but that's my opinion and it stands.
I think the idea that any kind of serious inquiry and lessons learned doesn't start till next year is completely terrible. The families of all tens of thousands of people died who didn't need to die. There's absolutely no excuse for delaying that, because a lot of the reasons for why that happened are still in place now. Look at the whole debate about variants and whatnot. This has to be honestly explained.
That is Matt Hancock.
In February, the Prime Minister regarded this as just a scare story. He described it as the new swine flu. The second most powerful official in the country, Helen McNamara, is the Deputy Cabinet Secretary. She walked into the office while we're looking at this whiteboard. She says, "I've just been talking to the official, Mark Sweeney, who is in charge of coordinating with the Department for Health. He said, quote, I've been told for years that there is a whole plan for this. There is no. I've come through here Helen McNamara said, I've come through here to the Prime Minister's office to tell you all, quote, I think we are absolutely fine. I think this country is heading for disaster. I think we're going to kill thousands of people. I think that the Secretary of State for Health should have been fired for at least 15, 20 things, including lying to everybody in multiple occasions, in meeting after meeting in the cabinet room and publicly. There are numerous examples. I mean, in the summer, he said that everyone who needed treatment, who got the treatment that they required. He knew that that was a lie, because he'd been briefed by the chief scientific advisor and the chief medical officer himself about the first peak, and we were told explicitly people did not get the treatment that they deserved. Many people were left to die in horrific circumstances. The truth is that senior ministers, senior officials, senior advisors like me fell disastrously short of the standards that the public has a right to expect of its government in a crisis like this. When the public needed us most, the government failed. And I'd like to say to all the families of those who died unnecessarily, how sorry I am for the mistakes that were made and for my own mistakes at that.
There you go, Dominic Cummings. Dominic Cummings. Ladies and gents, before we move on, you know, people, children, nieces, nephews, I can't stress enough of, you know, the criminology, you know, the men's rehabilitation, people causing a provocation, even to the fact of cyberbullying. You know, it's no need for it. You know, it's causing other young children to commit suicide. What happened to good manners? Good manners go a long way in life. You know, you can be strong inside, but still have good manners. You don't need to be abrupt. You don't need to be overacting, overexerting to bully someone, to pull someone down. What happened to nice mannered, respectable people? I mean, I call you lot listening in part of the aristocracy social elite because you stand, observe and preserve. But I can't stress enough how many cowards carry weapons. Is it all under the influence of alcoholism, narcotics? I don't know. sociological differences, different areas, the suburbs, perhaps. Anyway, listen to this. Southend, South Church Avenue, call outs criminal, attack man and set him on fire twice. This is arson to a person. This is shocking. An attempted murder. The victim was viciously attacked outside of his home in October 2019. Things police have to get, put themselves forward for. 2 men have been jailed for the attempted murder of a man they set on fire. The victim, a man in his 40s, suffered life-changing injuries after being attacked outside his home in South Church, Southend, in early hours of October 2019. Do you realise what setting someone like, deranges your whole body for the rest of your life, burns all your skin, you've got scars that you don't want to leave the front door. It's shocking, absolutely shocking information. The victim has gone outside after taking a phone call with Alan Archer, who he knew, before CCTV footage showed him being doused with a fluid from a petrol can and set alight. He managed to escape before being assaulted by the suspect and set on fire for the second time, leaving him with horrifying and sustained burns on 60% of his body. The vicious attack resulted in him losing 4 toes. This is disgusting, absolutely disgusting. Alan Archer and Jane Riley had been jailed for 24 years, each for attempted murder of a man they set alight. They deserve it. Jane Riley, 53, of Farmead Avenue, Westcliff, and Archer, 33, from Dexter Close, Grays, were later arrested and charged with attempted murder. Officers arrested the two, becoming suspicious of the vehicle driving past the address numerous times, including even stopping to ask the victim's partner if she was okay. During the trial at Basden Crown Court on May the 19th, the court heard how the pair had been attacked the victim because Riley was angry. He had pawned a watch worth only a few pounds that she had been giving him. This is absolute disgusting news, isn't it? Burned alive. He set alive. He survived as well. Imagine them scars he's had. 2nd-degree burns. He's got to wear them scars for the rest of his life. To 2 juveniles. Cause of men's rehabilitation, sentenced to life in prison. Absolutely deserve it for setting someone right. Pair were convinced that the same court the following day, each given jail sentence of 24 years. Investigating officer, Detective Constable Neil Utley from Southend CID, said the victims suffered an unimaginable ordeal at the hands of Jane Riley and Alan Archer. Their actions were calculated, callous and cruel. What the victim experienced would have been terrifying and will affect him mentally and physically for some time. He added the length of the sentence highlights just how serious this incident was, and while nothing will turn the clocks back for the victim, I hope this will help him move forward. Essex Police confirmed the jury at the trial could not be decided on verdicts for 2 other men. More in Essex, ladies and gentlemen. More going on in Essex. I'm mortified what's going on. It's another Michael Barrymore incident. Essex man found dead in hotel swimming pool in Mexico. Inquest hears. Mystery surrounds how he died. More deaths, more men's rehabilitations. An Essex man had been found dead in hotel swimming pool in Mexico. Michael Andrew Luke Jackson was sadly found dead in a hotel swimming pool in Oaxaca, Mexico on April the 18th, 2021. So this is a Michael Barrymore incident. Let's have a listen. The 42-year-old was a British national who was living abroad at the time of his death. The inquest into Mr. Jackson's death was formally opened today, May 27th, by an area coroner of the Essex Lincoln Brokes at Essex Coroner's Court in Chelmsford, Essex. It's unclear exactly where Mr. Jackson was living at the time of his death, with reports suggesting it was either at Guatemala or Mexico. Mr. Jackson was repatriated to the UK on May the 12th, 2021. A post-mortem examination was initially carried out in Mexico and subsequently in Essex at Basden Hospital by Dr. Goddard, who is awaiting results until they can conclusively determine a cause of death. To go to that extent, to, you know, take someone's life is an absolute shambolic, inhumane ordeal. These people need to be stuck in a metropolitan lunatic asylum before they was born. Mr. Brooks formally opened adjourned Mr. Jackson's inquest to a date yet to be confirmed. He also requested to see post-mortem examinations, toxicological and histological examination for both Dr. Goodard and the Mexican authorities. The Mexican police report into the discovery of Mr. Jackson's body was also requested by Mr. Brooks. Well, ladies and gents, don't forget we're back with a brand new edition. We've got question time tomorrow at 7 p.m. So everyone listening in, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss our question time. There's going to be free giveaways for the person that's got the most questions correct. We're trying to build a bigger, better platform with, you know, brand new, absolute brand new edition, getting a bit more people involved. So what's going on? Stopping the criminology, giving you for today an idea of how to settle for peace rather than settle for inhumane activity. Breaching ASBO, out of control. We need to, you know, make sure you get involved, guys. That's all I can say. Make sure you get involved. Let's make a difference. Let's make a difference. Absolutely. I don't know if it's going to work, guys.
Who lost loved ones will have noticed that the Secretary of State, in his opening remarks, did not respond to any of the specific allegations from yesterday. Allegations which are grave and serious, that the Prime Minister is unfit for office, that his inaction meant tens of thousands needlessly died, allegations from Dominic Cummings that he specifically is accused of misleading colleagues, an allegation from Mr. Cummings, Mr. Speaker, on our preparedness and lack of protection for people in care homes. Now, these allegations from Cummings are either true, and if so, the Secretary of State potentially stands in breach of the Ministerial Code and the Nolan Principles, or they are false, and the Prime Minister brought a fantasist and a liar into the heart of Downing Street, which is it. Families who have lost loved ones deserve
question time tomorrow, sir.
From him today.
Question time tomorrow.
It's a shame that he promised a protective shield around care homes, and over 30,000 care home residents have died. Why were 25,000 elderly people discharged from hospitals into care homes without any test? Did he tell Downing Street in March that people discharged from hospital had been tested, even though it wasn't until 15th of April that there was a requirement for testing to take place? In public, he has often claimed that little was known of asymptomatic transmission at the time, so testing wasn't necessary. But Sage in January flagged evidence of asymptomatic transmission. A study in The Lancet in February flagged it. On March the 5th, the CMO said there may well be a lot of people who are infected and have no symptoms. So why didn't he insist on a precautionary approach and test all going into care homes? On 6th of May at the dispatch box, he claimed that it is safer for them to go into a care home. 12,000 people had died in these early months. How could he justify that comment? In April, he told the House that what is important is that infection control procedures are in place in that care home. But care homes, like the NHS, struggled with the most desperate of PPE shortages. And he was telling us in March from this dispatch box that supplies were extensive, but apparently in private in Downing Street was blaming Simon Stevens for lack of PPE. But the reality is him and his department was responsible for PPE, and the NAO report said the supplies were inadequate. 850 healthcare workers died. How many could have been saved had they had PPE? Families loved lost ones and have been let down by this government, this Prime Minister, and this Health Secretary. But the truth matters. These families and the country deserve clear answers from the Health Secretary and the Prime Minister today.
Secretary of State. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. These allegations that were put yesterday and repeated by the Right Honourable Gentleman are serious allegations, and I welcome the opportunity to come to the House to put formally on the record that these unsubstantiated allegations around honesty are not true, and that I've been straight with people in public and in private throughout. Every day since I began working on the response to this pandemic last January, I got up each morning and asked, what must I do to protect life? That is the job of a health secretary in a pandemic. We've taken an approach of openness, transparency, and explanation of both what we know and of what we don't know. I was looking at it this morning. Since last January, I've attended this House, Mr. Speaker, over 60 times. With the Prime Minister, we have together hosted 84 press conferences. I've answered 2,667 contributions to this House and answered questions from colleagues, the media, and the public. And we'll keep on with this spirit of openness and transparency throughout. As well as coming to the House today, I'll be answering questions and hosting another press conference later. Now, sometimes what we've had to say hasn't been easy. We've had to level with people when it's been tough, when things have been going in the wrong direction. And also, we have learned throughout. We've applied that learning both to tackling this pandemic and making sure that we're as well prepared in the future as possible. But beyond all this, what matters remains the same. Getting vaccinated, getting tested, delivering for our country, overcoming this disease and saving lives. And that is what matters to the British people.
There you go. You heard it from Matt Hancock himself. What matters is getting vaccinated. All these people, you know, think they're clever not getting vaccination. You're being selfish for the rest of us.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
We all want to be,
the levelling up agenda set out by this government will ensure that long forgotten communities across the Midlands are finally getting the investment they...
Shut up. Sorry about that. Yeah, don't be selfish, not get your vaccination. COVID is not a conspiracy theory. You need to get yourself protected to protect the others that have had it. It's making it hard work, isn't it? We're going to have to end up going for a third or fourth COVID vaccination if you guys don't buck your ideas up ASAP. It's important that everyone has their COVID vaccination. Absolutely. Anyway, ladies and gents, that is all for me today. I want you to have a wonderful but safe bank holiday weekend. Thank you ever so much for tuning in. Please subscribe to our Proclamation News and Gatherence on YouTube and Castbox. It's beneficial, just not for me, for you guys as well, for joining in and joining in for our talk shows, our question time. Me and my friend Aidan Chapman are holding a question time tomorrow night, so make sure you are tuned in about 7 p.m. in the evening. I just want to say thanks all. Have a wonderful day. God bless. Take care. One love. Speak soon. Speak soon, guys.